Hello folks, Kaz here from blockheadUK.
When I first started building Micropolis, one of the hardest questions I had to answer was, what can I use for windows? Well, there are lots of different options as it turns out. How about a Technic brick like this, for instance, with lots of holes down the side? There you've got your one brick height and lots of windows ready made. That can work quite well, particularly when if you sandwich it between the next floor, that's how it's going to end up looking. Okay, so that one's a good one to start with. Also, the 1x4 and 1x2 versions of these, which are bricks with studs along the sides, they can also make excellent windows, just to look a bit like portholes perhaps. Good for modern type buildings, I think. And then of course there's the single version of that as well. This can be more versatile because if you mix that with other bricks that we'll do in a little bit, that can give you some nice variation of your the walls on each floor. And then of course the other smaller Technic type bricks as well, one hole, two holes, and indeed the single with one hole in the middle too. And again, they can look good if you mix the number of holes you've got or the number of colours. They can work very nicely. Something like this for a larger building that I was talking about, which is 2 bricks high. That can make an interesting window shape. You don't have to put anything in the glass bit there, but that could provide some interesting shapes as well as that one that we've already looked at. Of course, if you've got lots and lots of these 1x2 transparent bricks in any type of colour, then you're onto a winner as well, and they look particularly effective, especially when mixed with, as I say, other bricks. Not to just have a wall, of these things. There we are. The focus has come in now. But perhaps put 1x1 bricks in between to give some breakup of the pattern. Now if you don't have 1x2 bricks, but you're lucky enough to have lots of 1x2 plates, then they can look good stacked on top of each other. Oops. Like this. And that gives the same height of window but a lot more interest going on there. And in fact, yesterday's video of the modern Art Deco houses had windows that were built like this to give that 3-tiered window pane look that is so effective from the Art Deco period. But of course, 3 together, the same colour, not very interesting necessarily. So what about using some different colours? And that's what I did for the build that was called Escher Place, and I stacked up 3 different coloured plates, and that was my floor for each of the little buildings in Escher Place. And that can look really good, particularly if you're using a fairly neutral tone for the floors. That gives some lovely contrast and some highlighting colour that's going on within the windows themselves. If you can imagine white bricks along here, that would look pretty spectacular. One of my favourite things to use, however, is the good old headlight brick. Very versatile, and you can use it in several ways really. So the first and most boring probably is to use it somewhat like you would have done the brick with the stud on the side, like that. You get a slight recess and a little bit of a window ledge if you like. But that's not very interesting. What happens if we turn it round like that? All of a sudden those 2 windows look a bit different, and they indeed give you some variety when you're adding things around the perimeter of your building. The final configuration here is using them on their backs. So you put that square hole, oops, like that, and now you've got the window sticking out slightly from the edge of the wall, which looks really interesting texturally. These provide you a square window frame type thing. The one disadvantage, of course, is that's only now 2 plates high. So for every one of these you use next to bricks, you'll need to put another plate either above or below, depending on your preference, to make it the same height as the rest of the layer. But they can look really good, and Spring Heights was done like this, indeed with the plate in orange put underneath the windows. So there we go for a few ideas for windows. One more brick that I forgot regarding windows is the 1x2 here with the Technic axle cross piece in it, hole. Don't tend to use those for modern offices or houses, but they can be really useful if you want to build a church or something like that, to give a different look to the windows you've got there.
In the next episode of this Micropolis tutorial series, I will show you some ideas about design patterns with repetition and variation. But that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you can see new content when it is released.